Dave and I were talking to Gandhi thug Andy Billups, and he said, "You know who you should interview? My friend Alan Kelly. He did the stunts for UHF, and he's who got me the part." Well, we listened to Andy, so please welcome T. Alan Kelly. How's it going, Alan?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me on today. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
You're working on a film which is starting to be filmed like any day now. Is called The Coward, and it was written by Dean Pyles. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's called The Coward, and there's a Facebook page called The Coward the Movie. You can go to that or The Coward 2020. The Coward the Movie is the main Facebook page. You can go in there and look at the posts to keep up with the production as it develops. We went. It's down in Alabama. That's where we're shooting right now. It's an We're going to start the first day of the main feature is going to start next Monday the 20th, and and then we're going to right after that, because of the Corona stuff, it's kind of been pushing us off for several months. So this film, the premise for this film, it's an anti-bullying film. Dean Pyles is a 40-sometime world champion, Hall of Fame martial artist. There's several of us that are in this movie together that we are all Hall of Fame and Sport Karate Museum inductees and
Cool.
and world champions, and so it's there's a lot of big name martial artists in it. But and Dean Pyles is also Marine Recon. He lives in Florida. He trains in Marine Recon down there, and then there's Rob Buckland. He's one of the main co-stars. That's playing Mark Stone is the character. Dean's playing that, and he wrote the film. But and then Tom Stone, his brother, is Rob Buckland, who also just got inducted in the Sport Karate Museum, and he's a legitimate ex-special forces, and so these guys are real legit, awesome guys. But anyway, when people think of bullying, they think of kids a lot. There's a lot of adults that get bullied on a wide scale. And so, just kind of a little bit about the movie. The guy, he has a problem with the bullies when he's younger. He goes off, becomes a Marine Recon, comes back to the small town, and the bullies are running the town. And now the bullies have kids that are grown kids, and they're breeding bullies, basically.
Yeah.
And so now they're running the town and terrorizing everybody. But Mark Stone is struggling with a promise that he made his dad years ago. And so he's trying not to use his martial arts to deal with these guys, but eventually it's going to come down to, it becomes too dangerous for people whose lives are in jeopardy. And so he has to finally stand up to the bullies. And so there's a big moral story to it. And it's a big thing to try to help encourage people to stop the bullying, that goes on. And so it's going to be a great film. Like I said, we're just getting ready to finish shooting. We were down there in November shooting basically a trailer, a short version to use in some of the film festivals and to help get funding. Well, it did it took care of its objectives. So now we're fully funded and we're going forward with the feature film. They said it'll be the first in hopefully a series that they're working on. But I can't talk a lot about it, other than just what I said.
Yeah.
But, it's going to be something. It's going to be well worth. It's going to be something like nobody's ever seen before. It's not your typical, just because there's a lot of karate guys in it, it's not your typical karate movie, martial arts, low budget thing. This is a high budget. We've spent 2 or 3 days a week for over a year. We've been doing Zoom meetings, reading the script, and getting together. We were down there for several days in November shooting the short version, and we've got a team of guys. Myself, Rob Buckland. He's got 20 some films under his belt as an actor and stuntman. Dean wrote the movie. He's going to be the star. Mark Stone is going to become a household word after this film comes out. It's definitely something people should look for because, and it's got worldwide buzz right now. There's people all over the world that are buzzing about this film really hard. And it's going to be something that people haven't seen before. And it's going to start something. And it's getting ready to light a fire. But, and us as martial arts instructors, that's been our life's calling, is to help people that are, weaker or timid or
Right.
whatever you want to call it, develop self-confidence and courage to stand up for themselves and to stand up against people that want to abuse them. And back in the day, I actually did a lot of bodyguard work and some bounty hunting work in the day. And some of the stuff that I used to have to do, when you think of bodyguards, you think of people guarding rich, famous people or something. Then my biggest jobs were, if you got a boss that's a meek and mild person, not a physical type person, or a lot of confidence or aggressive, and you got a big physical aggressive employee that you have to fire. A lot of times I would get called to come sit in the office because these employers would be afraid to have that encounter with somebody that's larger and physical and aggressive to tell them, hey, you're fired. So like I said, even way back in those days in the 80s and 90s doing that, I saw the effect of bullying in adults. How many adults had to deal with that and were afraid for their safety. And so this film's going to have a big impact on that kind of thing. It's going to really hit home to a lot of people that have never seen it presented this way, because nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody, wants to talk about adult bullying, and it's a big, big factor. So we're going to take care of it. We'll fix that.
That's awesome. Well, I'm excited to see The Coward once that's out. I really am excited for Always Jump Headfirst into Your Dreams, the book you're working on. Alan, this has just been awesome getting to hear about your experiences and your career. Thank you so much for joining us.
Man, I appreciate you guys inviting me. It's been a real pleasure. It was nice to talk to you guys. And if there's ever anything I can do to be of assistance in the future, don't hesitate to let me know, man. And again, it's just been a real pleasure and an honor for me to be invited on the show with you guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks again to Andy Billups, Alan Kelly, and all of our listeners, subscribers, Patreon supporters, and sponsors. And thanks to everyone who follows us at 2000 Inch on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram.
Be sure to join our Facebook group by heading on over to group.2000inch.com if you have not already.
Find us online at weirdalpodcast.com or 2000inch.com. Make sure to share our posts, tell your friends about the podcast, and we love it when you leave us voicemail messages via our 27-hour-a-day podcast hotline. It's 347 Spatula.